So 10-32 and a tap out, and I really wish I was talking about a UFC fight, but instead I'm talking about Anthony Richardson's day this past Sunday. 10 for 32, and this man took himself out of the game. Franchise quarterback behavior? I think not. So is Anthony Richardson a bust? How do we feel? What's the fallout? Because Joe Flacco is going to be starting next Sunday, and I know we have some thoughts about this whole situation. So why don't you get us started, Clemmy, since you are the guest? How do we feel about the Anthony Richardson situation? What are our immediate thoughts?
I mean, do I think he's a bust talent-wise? No. Like, whatever's going on in his fucking head, though, gotta go. He's done. I honestly, people get tired. I get it. But you're like the quarterback of like a huge franchise. Figure that shit out. Not gonna lie.
Power through.
I've never seen, I don't even think I've seen anybody tap out. Soccer players, they run all fucking the whole time.
Well, every
Don't
other
tap
position does at some point or another. All the other positions do, except
but
for
you
offensive
sub out.
line. Except for offensive line.
I guess that's true. But
But
those some
like
big
running
boys.
backs will tap their head
If they're
in.
not tapping out, then why are you tapping out? Those are some hefty dudes.
Pause.
Yeah, sure.
You know, that's a great point. I mean, the quarterback, you're the leader. You set the example. Your guys are supposed to follow your lead. You can't be tapping out of games, man. It's just you're 22 years old. You are where you are because of your athleticism. So if you're not properly conditioned, then what are you doing?
You're literally a physical specimen.
Right.
Like,
And-
nobody could do that. You have to be.
And you're subbing yourself out. And listen, like, you had a 39-year-old quarterback outplaying you. Do you really want to send the message that you're not conditioned enough to outplay a 39-year-old quarterback? I mean, it's just, like you said, Clem, I know we said other positions do it, running backs will do it a lot, and pretty much everyone except offensive linemen, but quarterbacks don't do that. I mean, you know, some people are like, Brady didn't do that, Pat Mahomes. Forget that. Like, the Baker Mayfields of the world and you know, the not upper echelon guys, they don't
Shit,
tap
you'll
out.
never find my boy Bryce Young doing some shit like that. He might be ass, but
Facts.
he'd never do some shit like
And,
that.
Facts.
and it's
He's a
just
trooper.
like you said,
Lamar
like,
Jackson runs all the time. He ain't never going to do that shit.
and it's also that if you weren't such a piss poor thrower of the football, you wouldn't have to run so much.
But you know what's wild, too? He was like, a couple weeks ago, there were talks of him being benched for Joe Flacco. Why wouldn't you want to prove everybody wrong and just ball out? And that just made your, like, piss poor excuse even worse.
Right. And
You know, that's.
and the,
Bro got up and said, I'm tired.
And
He's tired. I
and there were
get it.
people
I
that were
was
like,
I'm
tired.
exhausted.
people were like, "Oh, why didn't he just lie?" And it's even worse because he didn't see anything wrong with just tapping out because he was tired. He went in the press after, and I don't know who media trained him. Like, someone from the Colts media team should have got a hold of him beforehand and been like, "Hey, don't fucking say you were tired."
Failed him miserably.
Yeah. And he didn't see an issue with just going out of the game because he was tired. It's like, dude, like, limp over to the sideline, crunchy, hold your stomach or something. Like, don't
Act like you're hurt.
lie,
You gotta
literally
break.
lie. Like, do not
Yeah.
say you were tired. It's just, it sets a horrible example for the locker room. I mean, the guys blocking for you, they're tired. The running back is tired. The receivers are tired. The defense trying to bail you out of your terrible offensive game, they're exhausted. Like, you cannot be the
The
guy.
fans are tired.
I have a
Right.
question. Is Anthony Richardson a captain on the team?
I mean, he's the quarterback.
No, but is he a captain now?
I don't think he's named.
Whether
captain now,
whether
but
he's captain or not, if you're the quarterback, you are
Yeah, but it
Oh,
just
that
it
was
just makes things better. Yeah, you know what I mean?
you are the
Like,
captain of the football team.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, I
Like,
feel
you're
yeah.
looked at as the guy to set the example, to lead, be a leader of men. And
Yes,
for
he's the captain.
Oh,
for
is that-
some
He is.
people, he is officially named. Okay,
Yeah, it's tough, man.
and the thing is, like at 22, like that sometimes that's unfair to ask of a kid. Like sometimes that's very unfair.
He is young.
But from everything we've seen, like he seemed to be the type of guy that was capable of doing something like
Yep.
that. And then for you to not understand the precedent you're setting for the remainder of the team is just insane to me. Because you never come out of the game because you are such a leader of the offense. You are the focal point of the offense. So I found it insane. I think everyone found it insane for that matter. But yeah, there's zero excuses. I've seen a few people trying to defend him like every other position does it. It doesn't fucking matter because you're not held to the same standard of every other position.
Right.
It goes to show how truly inexperienced he is. Like I said, not only the fact that he tapped out, but the fact that he didn't think there was anything wrong with it afterwards.
Yeah,
He's
he is
only
still
played
just a
how many
kid.
football games has he played? Like
10 NFL football
organized
games.
10 NFL games and not many in college or even high school. Like
I think he's played 20-ish total.
He's
in the
missed
last,
so
like,
much
4
time,
years.
and last year I'm sure he was in and out of the facility because of rehab for his shoulder and everything. So he just hasn't been around a lot of professional football, and it shows in this situation. I mean, I know he needs reps because he needs to improve his accuracy, and that's the biggest thing, but he's got to learn how to be a quarterback. He has to learn, like, there's intangibles that come with being a quarterback that are just as important as what you can do on the field.
Most
So,
definitely.
the
Plus,
leadership's
like you would think, like, yo, you got Joe Flacco right behind you. Like, you think you won't lose your job for fucking doing that?
And this guy's like ready to go. Like, he showed that he's a better quarterback than you.
Joe
Like,
Flacco wants to
He's
go.
right-
Like, he's
Bro,
ready.
they win with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, he's right behind you, and you should be sitting there saying, "Man, I need a break," but like this guy's going to take my job, and that's exactly what
100%.
happened.
And do we think that the Colts would have won if Joe
Yes.
Flacco was starting that game?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the Colts
Yeah.
are a much better team with Joe
Yeah, I
Flacco.
guess
in
we
there.
That
Yeah.
offense is 10 times better with Joe Flacco.
What about you, Pickle Rick?
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we said a few weeks ago, though, when Anthony Richardson was set to return from injury. We said the team was rolling with Joe Flacco, and God forbid they switch back to Anthony Richardson and he plays bad, and then you have to go back to Joe Flacco. We talked about it a few weeks ago with the Steelers. What's your famous line, Matty J? If you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. So this switching between quarterbacks thing is, on top of the other stuff, is a bad message for the locker room, and it's hard for those guys to be motivated. And sure, developing Anthony Richardson is a big priority for this team. At the end of the day, for any football organization, the number one priority is winning football games. And switching between quarterbacks like that, you're not going to win many games. It's as simple as that. The guys aren't going to want to block. They're not going to want to run their routes hard. They're not going to want to, like you said, Tom, bail you out on defense. So then, on top of him playing terrible, like you guys mentioned, you as the quarterback cannot tap out of a game.
No.
In all of our years of watching football, we have never, ever, ever seen that before. I'm sure we've seen guys tap out maybe because they had a cramp, or maybe they lied. Maybe they were tired and they lied. But to go, like you said, Tom, to go up there to the press conference and say, "Oh yeah, I was tired, I was running a lot," is inexcusable. It's inexcusable. He is not seeing the football field for the rest of the year. This is a team who, I mean, the implications of this game were massive.
Right.
They're what now? 1-2 in the division. This was for the division lead. This was for the division lead, and you sucked and you lost the game with your terrible play. 10 for 32 is inexcusable.
And he didn't rush for 300 and something yards. Like, it wasn't. He rushed for like 60, I think it was. It was not high.
It was nothing to where he should have been tapping the helmet
No.
saying, "Get me out of here."
No.
Like,
6
And I get it.
carries for 45 yards and a lost fumble, which
Yeah.
is another issue that he has, is he loses the football.
Right,
But,
and
yeah.
like
and then
you
the
were
other
saying-
issue is he gets hurt.
And like you were saying in all the group chats today, Matty J, the worst part of it all is he hasn't shown any single sign of improvement.
Yep.
And I know it was only 3 games last year, but he looked better last year than he does
Yeah.
this year.
Yes, he did.
He hasn't had one good game yet. The first game was cool. He made a couple cool throws, and you
Right, the
saw the
box score looked
potential
good,
there.
yeah.
But like, he hasn't had a good game as a quarterback yet this year. It's done for him this year. Like that was the last straw, and I do firmly believe they probably would have just rode it out with him if he didn't do this nonsense. If he was just playing bad, they probably would have just rode it out. But like you guys said, you do this nonsense, and the message it sends to the locker room is terrible. We keep saying, the receivers running their routes hard, the offensive line blocking, all that stuff. Well, if this guy gets to just take a play off because he's tired, we're going to take a play off because we're tired too.
Like,
So it's just a terrible message.
I brought up Baker Mayfield before, and that guy, I say it all the time. I love watching Baker Mayfield take off and just drop his shoulder into somebody. Does Baker 100% believe that he can run over a linebacker? Probably not. But he knows that as the
He might.
quarterback, he can, he gets
He
the
definitely
job
can.
done.
He definitely
But as a quarterback, if he's out there being aggressive, fighting for the extra yards like his guys are supposed to, he knows that lights a fire under them and makes them want to do the same thing. And you tapping out of a game, there's just no. It's all bad. Everything. No, any message that sends is just really bad. Now, I will say the one thing.
Sometimes
about-
you can't teach that shit either.
No, like you
Baker's
just have
probably
What,
he was like
dog?
that.
Dog,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can't,
can't teach that. That's an
Baker
intangible
Baker
thing,
was
yeah.
that in college too. Like
Right.
he just had that leadership to him, and everybody fought for him.
He had that.
It's wild.
Some guys like Baker, Matt Stafford and other guys.
Kirko.
Yeah, make you want to run through a wall for them.
Yeah.
And you need that. And, you know, the way Anthony Richardson plays, I thought he had it. And I never would have expected this from a guy like him. And
He got that chihuahua in him.
right, but the one
In
thing
the body of a fucking Rottweiler.
Yeah, he's like he has all the like talent in the world to be great, but he doesn't have like the mental to be there. That's the worst part about it all.
he's just, like I said, just a very, very inexperienced. But the Colts are still going with him for the future. Like, I'm sure that's how that conversation went, is like, hey, you're done for this season. We're going to go with Joe because he gives us, and you're going to sit behind him. You're going to learn. You're going to be better next year, and we're going to put you right back out there.
You sure?
You're going to be the future of this franchise.
You sure as shit hope he's better
up?
next year. But I'll say this. Dean was defending him in the chat, and I think Dean was defending him in the chat because he has him in Dynasty.
Makes sense.
I think he was just a massive fit.
checks out.
So
Dean sucks. Dean's team fucking sucks. Bro, I haven't won a game since Tom Brady was still in the league, bro. Tom Brady
Oh,
was
you're like actively tanking.
Tom
You don't have, like,
exactly.
That's what makes it so embarrassing.
Yeah,
Tom Brady was still in the league the last time I won a game. I lost not 1, not 2, not 3. Carry on, not 20, not 21, but 22 straight games.
was good.
And then Dean talking all that shit to Sullivan about beating him in the regular. I did that shit for you, Matty J. Everyone prays on your downfall in this league. Fuck Sully, they say.
Yeah.
Fuck Sully, they say. Dean talking all that shit. Well, I beat you. I have the most regular season wins. Yeah, win. You lost to me. Bro, I'm trying to lose, bro. I just lost out on Genty because your team is so ass, Dean.
I tipped the cap.
My God, your team sucks. You
It
lost.
is fuck Sully though. in
Bro,
the
he
Dynasty
lost
League,
to
not gonna
Bucky
lie.
Irving
Yeah,
and
man.
fucking Cade Otton. Yeah, now I'm back on that.
Yeah,
but
it's
for
fuck
this
Sully in
week,
the Dynasty League. That's
bro,
just
I
what it
wanted
is.
to beat Dean so bad, and I can't believe my team. Jaden Daniels, bro, I will never forget
Pour
that
honey on
moment,
him.
bro. I won because I won by 2 points. I won by 2 points. If Jaden Daniels doesn't throw that Hail Mary, I lose. So Jaden Daniels, you have a special place in my heart, my friend.
You know,
As if he didn't before this. Yeah, he definitely does.
oh my God, yeah, for sure. First of all, fuck Dean. Second of all, my point was,
Sorry.
no, you're good. You're good.
Needed that.
I appreciated that, and I was happy that came out.
Until the end, we said fuck Sully.
It's fine. No. I love my haters. It's all good.
Comment Walmart sketch if you're seeing this right now.
All right. Love those haters too.
Exactly.
So I'll say this. My point being, Dean was saying how they should just ride out Anthony Richardson for the rest of the year, how he's the future of their franchise, and it's about more than just this year. You also have guys on the roster that want to win, are paid to win, that want to be there to play, and you're going to set a horrible example if you're riding with a guy that so clearly does not give you the best chance to win on a week-to-week basis. Josh Downs and Michael Pittman, when Anthony Richardson are in, are irrelevant. They do not matter. They look like they don't even belong on a football field. You have Joe Flacco, and those two look like one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL. Oh my God, MLB, NBA. I was going to go for both. In the NFL. So it's like, you got to realize you have other players to worry about, to develop, and all that stuff. So,
And then there's the people who are saying, well, actually, Anthony Richardson's 5-5 in his first 10 starts. Josh Allen was 4-6. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Josh Allen would never, ever check himself out of it. Josh Allen will play with a broken fucking leg. I think about a former Colts quarterback who, he didn't do this with the Colts, but Mr. P. River, one of my all-time GOATs, played a playoff game with a goddamn torn ACL, and you're checking yourself out because you're tired? Get some more fucking sleep, bro.
another Colts quarterback that dealt with all the injuries in the world that just toughed it out, leader of men, Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
I mean, that
It's
man had
ridiculous, bro.
every
Peyton Manning
single
never missed a
injury
snap.
Yeah.
under the
Never
sun.
missed a snap.
And had neck surgery. You don't just recover from neck surgery like that.
No.
Yeah, it's
It's just such
It's
a
wild.
bad, and like, I'm not. So the question is, the hook of the segment was, is Anthony Richardson a bust? I'm not there yet.
No, me neither.
I'm not there yet. I think there's still so much untapped potential, but
This needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
on all ends.
Yeah.
Because the Colts as an organization aren't an excuse too. Because like we said weeks ago, we've been known they should have just rode it out with Flacco this
Right.
year. Once Anthony Richardson got hurt the first time and Flacco came in and you were winning football games, we all sat up here and said their best chance to win is with Joe Flacco. So if they just did the right thing from the first place, like we're saying now, hey, we're going to ride it out with Flacco. You're still our future. Learn from him. Get ready to go for next year like we're predicting they're going to do for the rest of this year. If they just did that 3 weeks ago, then this whole situation doesn't happen. And now maybe 20% of that locker room doesn't fucking hate you. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not going to say he completely lost the trust of everyone within the organization, but there are some specific guys, I'm sure, who are not going to forget this. Like that, again, it's something I've never ever seen
Did you
before
see
in my time watching football.
when he actually tapped his helmet, Jonathan Taylor? I don't know if he was like reacting to it and even realized what's happening. It's possible he didn't, but it looked like he did a double take and he was looking and staring at Anthony Richardson. It's almost like, is this guy fucking serious? Like, I'm running for my life out here. I'm trying to bail him. Like, you know, like I'm trying to.
I dealt with a fucking sprained
Like,
ankle this year, and I'm trying to
win
get
this
out
game.
here.
Like, I'm trying to win this game, and this guy's tired. Are you kidding me? Like, it's unreal.
It's a bad
in a
look.
game
would
that
be
was there
so
for the taking.
Right? Yeah.
So
And again, especially like I said, with what was at stake in this, like this wasn't just your normal regular season game. This was a very important game in terms of playoff implications going forward. And we might look back, 5 weeks from now and say this is where the Colts season ended and this is why they missed the playoffs because they didn't win this game.
Yeah.
So,
Brothers' gas tank was empty with 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Third quarter.
Yeah, it's
Third quarter.
bad.
you just
Bad.
don't do that, man. You
No,
just don't
can't
do
do it.
that.
I don't know how you can as like a athlete who, whether or not you have 10 games in the NFL or 40 games, but like you're built to do that.
It's your job.
Like you go out there every Sunday and you
It's your job. If a
You're
doctor-
supposed to be
if
conditioned.
If a surgeon has like surgery to perform, he's not like, man, I just came off a 12-hour rotation.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
He's like 3 hours in.
he
Yeah, I
pops
can't
a-
do this.
He
Gotta get
pops
another
a
guy.
fucking 5-hour energy and he cuts it up.
Yeah. What?
Yeah,
Cuts it up is wild.
to go to the name of the segment, I think he's a bust. I'm ready to put the label on him.
I mean, he is a bust. Like, I don't even think it's like he
To this point.
to this point he is.
Yeah.
Well, to this
He
point,
busts
sure,
I
but-
think-
Like he.
I think like maybe in a couple stops, maybe eventually it works. But like for me, for you to literally show not a single bit of progression and like it goes under the radar. I'm pretty sure he had to rehab for part of the offseason or something, but like that should be mentioned as well. But for you to have regressed and not even look slightly better, you've gotten significantly worse, it seems. In a Shane Steichen offense, a guy that we all call an offensive genius.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying he should be looking like a vet in Joe Flacco, but I mean,
He should be looking
bro,
better.
You got to look better than
Yeah,
this.
better
So,
on a game-to-game
and then for him to say at the podium as well, "Oh, I'm a running quarterback." So like whenever that's not my game necessarily. So like to be accurate, in reference to being accurate,
Right.
and it's just, oh boy, what the hell happened
Yo.
here?
Good hit.
Yeah, you got hit in the thumb.
So it's just like, in reference to him being accurate, you don't respond with that. Tell the people, yeah, I'm working every week to get better. You're the quarterback,
That's it,
bro.
bro.
Just tell us bullshit. I'd rather you lie blatantly to my
Well,
face.
that goes back to
than
the
any
point that you were
Colts
making,
saving
Tom,
face.
and
Yeah.
what I was saying was, like, the Colts as an organization are not blameless in this. How is he not media trained enough to not say stupid shit like that? Like, you,
Grab him before the game.
He had an
Anyone.
all-time bad
Not
interview.
even like the media
like
training.
listen
like,
to what you
coach.
just said. He is an NFL quarterback, and he said accuracy isn't his game.
Not what I do.
Like, I'll
He's
say it
tired
again.
and he
An
doesn't do it.
NFL
he said it feels good coming off his hand.
An
though.
NFL quarterback said accuracy isn't his game. That is ridiculous.
Doesn't
That-
even make sense.
whether accuracy is or isn't your game, you don't fucking say
You
that.
say I'm really confident in my accuracy. I'm working every day to be
Right,
better.
it'll
Like,
get better. That's it. It'll get
So-
better.
it's so
And
simple.
leave it at that.
But we know accuracy isn't his game because
Right, we know that. You don't- right, you don't have to say
say
that.
we knew that.
Yeah. You're just telling us shit we already know. Like that's all it is. Shit that I can look up online.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bust though. He's 22 years old. Anybody at 22 years old, we were probably saying some dumb shit too. So I'm gonna say with a little bit of training can go a long way. Because yes, he's not like the Peyton Mannings or the Andrew Lucks, but you train that shit. And if it gets better, awesome. If it doesn't, you know where you stand with him.
Yeah.
Again, at the
That's
end
the
of the
thing.
day, he's not just younger, but also has so much less experience than
Yeah.
even some of these guys that are in college right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so there's still room for all this stuff to work itself out. And like I think we could all agree, it's just a raw talent. Like he has it.
Raw
Yeah,
athlete.
Right. He is a raw
So much
athlete.
so that everything
He
he's done
is.
to this point, they still believe in him long term.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, and I honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie, I still believe in him. I don't think he'll be no top 5 quarterback. He'll never
Right.
be MVP Cam Newton,
No.
like people were comparing him to. But I think just having
Solid Teddy Bridgewater.
the dual threat
Jesus
ability
Christ.
of having
That's
that
what we're comparing that
type
freaking
of
nature
cannon
to.
of an arm and that type of rushing upside and being that big down in the goal line,
Yeah.
like. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to be a good NFL
There's a good career in
quarterback.
there, yeah.
I still
I
do
agree with
believe he has a good career. In
You gotta
there.
just bring it out of him. That's it.
Yeah,
Just
shifting gears
and the
a little
Colts
bit.
know
Oh,
what they're doing over there.
Easier said than done, though.